the end, it comes out to Tom James. Good job! Oh, what a goal! What a goal for Tom James! Oh, that was special!
Well, good evening and welcome to Orient Live for the O's final Tuesday night game of the season. So let's make it a good one, eh? It's Exeter City who travel to E10, and I'm delighted to be joined here in the studio by Andrew Butler and Orient legend Jabo Ibe. And it's the season is coming to an end. It really does feel like that. But we're still here to enjoy a good game of football as we did on Saturday.
Yeah, we really are. You know, the team want to finish as high as they can and finish strongly. Put us in good stead for the up-and-coming new season, and it's good to see Zek getting a chance and seeing him play, and it's exciting end to the season.
And anyone who watched Richie's post-match interview on Saturday will have seen that he's not going to have his flip-flops on. He said how next season started on Saturday, and you know he's an intense man, and he'll carry that through to the end of the season and finish as strong as we can. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's something that most managers you'll come across that are comfortable in their jobs and comfortable and confident that they'll be there the following season will often say that the next season starts in the last few games, especially when there's not much riding on it. But also we shouldn't forget that our most successful seasons in recent years have come off the back of really strong performances at the back end of previous seasons. So there is still a lot to play for, I think. Going back to Saturday, but also last week, Richie made a point of saying that he was going to expose players to having more game time. And I think when we come to looking at our lineup this evening, it looks similar in that respect, and players getting given some game time to show what they're about and show the management what they can do.
And of course, if today's game is going to be anything like the last time game on Saturday, then, well, hopefully there's going to be a lot of very good goals. And of course, don't forget that as tonight is a Tuesday night, then there is no blackout. So you can watch this from wherever you're watching in the world. So if you're on our YouTube stream, just head over to the Orient website that's on screen now and join us here on Orient Live for the full fixture. But now, before we go any further, let's hear from the main man, Richie Wellens.
How much do you think you can learn in these last 4 games with next season in mind?
I think it's more, we know the ability, we know the types of players we've got. I think it's more in their mentality, the culture that we want to set, the enthusiasm to still go and get 3 points and entertain our supporters, even though there's not much to play for, but in my mind there is. So I just look for little signs, reactions, body language, because I think that if you have them fundamentals, I think they stand you in good stead throughout the season. We're all going to play well, we're all going to play badly. We're going to score good goals, we're going to score tap-ins, we're going to concede poor goals, we're going to score set plays, we're going to concede from set plays. They're all variables. But in a lot of things, in what we can control, I want us to be right on point. So, like I've said before, there's numerous contracts that are up. So, you know, we like a lot of the players, and there's going to be some contracts offered, but there's some at the moment that are just in the balance.
Next to come, what kind of challenge are they going to give us?
Well, Exeter was our first away win when we played them. They was top of the league. I think we were near the bottom, and we scored late on. Loads of rotations, loads of passing, good team. Went on an unbelievably bad run, fair play to him. Obviously, he stuck with Gary and he's come through that, and I think they're looking to finish strong and build for next season. So it's always been quite a stable club. Obviously, Matt Taylor had a number of years before that, made some good player sales, the likes of Ollie Watkins, and we've trained at their training ground a few times. Matt Taylor was good enough to let us train there. So the foundation's there for a really, really good club, and it'll be a tough game.
Top stuff there from Richie. And just to pick up on a point, Jabo, he said about the contracts, maybe some players being in the balance, some they want to sign. It must be a weird time of the season as a player when you are out of contract, and especially at this level, you don't know whether you're staying, whether you want to stay, whether you want to move. How hard is it then as a squad to kind of pull together, especially when the games are maybe don't have too much riding on them?
Well, I think if the game doesn't necessarily have too much riding on it, as a player, if you're playing for a contract, you're playing for your future, you kind of use the game as a shop window. A shop window to show the manager that I am a good player. I'm gonna show you from my performances that might just tip you over to get a new deal. Alternatively, you're playing against a team with another manager that might fancy you if you perform well. So you always, every time you're playing, you're out there. So no matter if there's nothing riding in the game for the club, there's always something riding on it for the player.
Are there any niggles in their mind about injury and any potential there?
Not really. I mean, you never, unless you're feeling something, you're carrying something, you would worry. But ultimately, you go out, you're fit, you go out and play your game. You never think about being injured or something, because ultimately you'll get injured. So you almost just go out there, play your game, don't worry about that, and you normally come out unscathed.
And then I'm guessing from Richie's point of view, then we'll be hoping that every player that's offered a deal would want to stay. Then for him, he would use that to motivate his team as well, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, and I think to his immense credit, Richie is an incredibly fair manager. I think you haven't seen many players in his time here where he's completely bombed players out of the squad, or just looked to shift people on as soon as possible. There's players that he's given a chance to throughout their careers, and so I think he's probably got a good idea in mind, but he's an incredibly fair man and a fair manager, and will give those opportunities. And I think what's quite nice is that you might have some managers across the divisions who will just be like, look, I know what I'm doing, I know what next season looks like as well, so therefore in the next 4 games I'll just play a solid team, the team that I trust, the team that I want to see stay at the club. But he's given players opportunities, he's made clear that he's giving players opportunities, he's made that public as well, and so it's a good way, a management style that I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely is. Now, enough with the what ifs and what's going to happen in the future, because it's time to focus on tonight's game and the team that Richie has selected for our fixture against Exeter. And there's been a handful of changes following from Saturday's 3-1 win. And in goal for the O's is, of course, Sol Bryn. Across the back line, we have Rob Hunt, the captain Omar Beckles, and making his first start for the club, Jack Simpson. And then at left back, Jaden Sweeney. In the midfield, we have the 3 of Jordan Brown, Ethan Galbraith, and Max Sanders. And our attacking line there is Ruel Sotiriou, Ollie O'Neill, and leading the line is Joe Pigott. And on the bench for the O's is Sam Howes, Tom James, Dan Adji, Brandon Cooper, George Moncur, Zach Ibehre, and Gaughan Edwards. So, as I said, a handful of changes. Starting off with the one that I think everyone's eyes are probably going to be on, Jack Simpson on a short-term deal. There's a lot of people expectant to see what he's going to bring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he came on Saturday against Cheltenham, and whilst Cheltenham were poor, they weren't without their chances, and we still had a bit of defending to do on Saturday. And Jack came on and did kind of everything that he needed to do, and that's pretty much against a team that's lying 22nd in the table when you're coming on at 3-0. You can't really shine in that sort of environment. I think Exeter will bring a slightly different type of game this evening, so therefore we will probably see a bit more of him. From what we saw of him on Saturday, he got his head on everything, looked kind of sturdy. Obviously, that being left-footed, that left-sided and right-sided partnership in centre-back is something that's utilised more and more in the modern game, and we'll see. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring.
And whilst we're talking about contracts, Jabo, and he's probably a prime example, brought in on a short-term deal, 4 games to go. He's fighting for his career here. He's going to be wanting to put on a really good show tonight.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, 4 games to go, he needs to just play as many games as he can, put himself in the shop window, and hoping that someone, if not Orient, someone picks him up and he can restart his career.
And then from a defensive point of view, as a whole, obviously Omar Beckles coming back into the side and wearing the armband. Jaden Sweeney's been brought back in as well. Starting with Omar, looking at the rest of the team, it's very young, bar Joe Pigott really, and Rob Hunt of course. But he's in there in that heart of the defence to marshal not only the backline but the whole team, isn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely in there to set precedent, put his presence out there to know that this is still serious. To set the tempo even, because he's a leader, and everyone looks up to him. So having him out there, just puts the essence on the game and makes sure everyone does the right job.
And Jayden Sweeney's the one who, in his post-match interview, Richie said he was probably man of the match. I think we said against, I think it was Peterborough on the Monday, and then there was maybe a bit of surprise that he wasn't starting or even in the squad on Saturday. But Richie said that was tactical, looking at how Cheltenham played. So that's maybe an inclination as to what today's setup will be about. Yeah,
and obviously that call is right, because we ended up winning on Saturday and quite handily. But it's always a shame, because as a player who's played incredibly well against what I thought was an excellent team in Peterborough, to then miss out entirely the next game always feels somewhat harsh. But he's come in, and again, I think another player who has been used quite sparingly, I guess, throughout the season, but always looks to get forward. I think we'll probably, hopefully, take the game a little bit more to Exeter. Exeter have this, and we'll come on to talk about Exeter, but they play three at the back, which means that as a fullback, if you can get ahead of their wing backs, then it's kind of a mismatch in styles, and hopefully Jayden and Rob Hunt on the other side will be able to exploit that more than they exploit us coming back the other way.
We will come on to that. But coming back to the age thing as well, as we move into midfield, it's an incredibly young midfield. I know it was young on Saturday, of course, with Zach Ibehre, but Jordan Brown, Ethan Galbraith and Max Sanders, they've not got tons of experience between them. But in hindsight, you've actually said that about a lot of games, and in a lot of those games, they've looked matured, they've controlled games, and especially Ethan Galbraith, 2 goals in 2, he's coming into form at the end of the season. Yeah,
he's really coming into his own, and he's always been good. Wherever he's been asked to play, he's always produced the goods, he's always looked steady, and now I think I say he's his favourite position in the middle of the park. You get to go and show us what you're about, go and enjoy yourself, go and make a statement, because again, you're looking at finishing this season strongly, but also with anticipation for the new season. Who can I count on? Who am I going to give the reins to and say, go on, you're gonna be my leading player this season? And there's opportunities there.
And Jordan Brown, of course, playing alongside him. We expect probably in that deep role with Max Sanders further up front. But Jordan Brown is, yes, we're saying about not much experience, but he's played so many games this season, and he's someone that we watched. I remember when we were doing the stream back in, I think was it January 2021 or 22, and he came in as a youngster. To see where he is now as a player, he's really grown, and throughout this season as well. Tonight, it's almost a bit of trust from Richie saying, you're probably that experienced one in midfield today.
Well, it looks the part now. When we go back to then, he looked more slimmer and wrangly. Now he looks like a fixture. He looks solid. He looks like he's got a bit about him. He's grown into that stature in the middle of the park. And could he be the new general in there? And he's still a similar age to the guys he's playing with. But could he be that guy to say, well, I'm going to boss it. I'm going to lead. And it's good to see, and it's nice to watch his progression. And again, he can put his marker down for next season.
What do you make of the balance of that midfield with Max Sanders in the 10 role?
I like it. Again, I'd be fascinated to know if we've actually lined up in this way with this exact formation this season, because it feels like the number 10 role has been a little bit in and out. The number 9 role has been a little bit in and out. We've played 4-3-3 at some points this season, but we've kind of stuck to the 4-2-3-1 for vast majority of the season. Of course, when you allow for injuries, you have to make some changes, and you have to bear that in mind that actually, when you look at our game against Exeter, the reverse fixture, thinking about that back in September, it's crazy how much that difference that was. We had Jordan Graham swinging the balls in for Joe Pigott, and obviously Jordan's unfortunate injuries put him out for the most of the season. And but since then we've changed to a slightly different system, and Shaq Ford's played over 40 games, and Ruel's been leading the line incredibly well. And then Max Sanders is someone who came in and then has been out of the team and has had a couple of knocks, but every time that he's had a chance, he's performed, I think, incredibly well. Obviously, the match winner against Stevenage, and today will be his 27th game, and I think that's all right for a debut season when you've had a fair amount of injuries as well. To have 27 appearances under your belt and be able to say, yeah, you know what, I haven't had quite the season I wanted to do, but I've probably done enough to prove myself to the fans and the manager. I quite like him in that number 10 role, and so we'll see. Hopefully he will do more of the business again tonight.
And let's talk goals very quickly then, Jabo. Your boy Shaq Ford isn't in the team tonight, but there's ample cover and players to do his role. 3 phenomenal goals on Saturday, and hopefully those front players will be in the same vein of form again.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, and sometimes when there could be sort of less intensity surrounding the game, players feel more free to express themselves and do magical stuff. So hopefully we can witness some more lovely goals today.
And someone who's capable of that magic is a certain Dan Adjei, who's recently returned from injury. So let's very quickly hear from that man.
Dan, you're back from injury. You've beaten your return date again. What's been the key to that quick recovery?
I think it's just doing the right things in the gym and trying to recover right and just working hard in the gym. I'm normally quite good with injuries, believe it or not. I recover quite quickly normally, so I think that's down to my genetics as well.
So when the medical team say to you, right, Dan, we're aiming for this date, do you always think, yeah, well, I'll be back before then?
Yeah. So I think Keaton was saying, this is about maybe a 12-week injury. In my head, I was thinking I'll be back in 8 weeks. Yeah, I've always been like that, and I'm always pushing myself to get back playing as quickly as possible.
And now you are back. You've had a couple of appearances. How much have you enjoyed being back out on the pitch?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm someone that just loves to play football and, just get out on the pitch, and I'm really enjoying being back and just trying to put in good performances and help the team.
And realistically, I mean, playoffs look like an outside bet for us now. So what are you hoping to get out of these last 4 games?
I think for us, to just take one game at a time, but try and put a marker on every game and show what we're capable of. We've got some big games in there as well, and try and get as many points as possible and just show the league what we're about. And I think that put us in good stead for next season as well.
Hopefully that man can come on the pitch and show what he can do, because we unfortunately haven't seen too much from him this season. But as we'll see from the clips now, when we have seen something, my word, he looks like he could have had 20 goals this season.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget how much of a catalyst his goals were for what was an exceptional run of form. The goal against Cambridge at the New Year, and then followed that up with a goal against Portsmouth in that fabulous 3-0 victory away. And he was just carried on in the short spell of games that he had. He always looked dangerous. He always had that kind of that touch about him of always thinking, he will score, or at least he'll get opportunities. And having opportunities is kind of part of the problem sometimes as a striker. I mean, I always feel bad when I talk about strikers sat next to a man like Jabo Ibe, but I mean, Jabo will know more about scoring goals than I ever will.
And how frustrating must it be for him though, because he has only played, I think, probably started 4 games. Have you got the stats there, Andrew? I think
he's played 14 times, but he's only started a few more.
Yeah, I think it was that period where he, just after New Year, where he started maybe 3 or 4 games and he scored in all of them. It must be so frustrating to have the 2 injuries, the big injuries that kept him out for so long and not really allowed him to hit the ground running at his new home. Yeah,
definitely, because he seems so meticulous, he speaks so well, he really thinks about, he seems like he's someone who really thinks about his body and thinks about the way he plays, and when he's talking about his injuries, and he really works hard, whatever he's doing, he really works hard to be the best he can and come back as quickly as he can. So I think he'd be disappointed, but it just shows the character of the individual, his mental strength. He didn't. Some people can let it fester and worry them. He come back and said, "Yep, I'm free now. I'm fit. I'm going to show you." Got injured again, comes back again, shows some character, shows what he's about when he comes back on. So I think I'm really excited to see him for next season, to be honest with you. As long as he can just get through the last few games unscathed, I'm really excited for him next season because he's going to make a big impact.
Me too. Well, time to remind you of the offer that we currently have ongoing in-store and online. We've extended the discounts to 50% off all training wear and replica shirts. That's for the 23-24 season. You can get that 50% off in-store and online while stocks last. So just head online now to take advantage of the offer. Now, talking of kits, it's time to cast our minds back to Retro Day from the other day and take a look at some of the retro kits that our players checked out at the training ground recently.
Some of these are rascals, isn't they? That's what I did this season's home kit on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh wow. Gonna go under.
Retro Day. Retro Day.
Next season bits.
You know whose shirt that is, don't you? Theo's.
No, that's VO's.
No, I thought it was Theo's.
So I based my game on
Who's this?
the absolute legend, the real number 3, Joe Widdowson. What a guy, nicest guy in football. What a guy, what a player.
There it is. I picked it up straight away. That's my one. But what I scored at Walsall away. Cheers, the only goal for the club.
I got in the PFA Team of the Year and we lost in the player final to Scunthorpe.
Is that your signature on it as well?
Is that my signature on it? It is my signature on it, yes.
Do you reckon you'd be able to get into that now?
No.
Frenchies, playing at Swindon.
Like the kit?
Sorry?
Like the kit?
Yeah, it's a nice one. One of the best ones there. Great guy. I like this one.
What one?
That one.
3 bits.
It's decent. Heat, bro. Heat bits. Hey, this kit is heat. This kit is heat. Yeah. Yeah, this kit is heat. That's a feels as well.
No, it's it.
That's the old.
Oh, yeah. God.
Get out. Alright, Pratt. Stop trying to make it up.
Oh shit. Hey, Ray-Bans, this is Ray-Bans.
Bit of red, bit of black and white. Nice colours, don't mind it. Up the hose. Bit of red. Bit of red. Bit of red. Bit of heat, you know, bit of heat on the pitch, on the shirt. What can I say?
Okay.
Nice one.
No, I didn't. I was 24. 18 was the lucky number.
Wow.
Promoted. This is all baggy. I have to get in the gym. Oh, they all. Either or.
Why'd you like it?
We give them a goal. We give the Orient a goal to start off and we still beat them 3-2. Matt, no, it's 4-2, wasn't it? So that's the home one. 4-2. It was easy anyway.
Brilliant content there, and of course a lovely mention for Joey Widdowson there from Jaden Sweeney. I knew Jaden Sweeney was a good bloke. Right then, not long to go until kick-off, so don't forget, if you're watching along live on YouTube, then you can join us from wherever you're watching in the world. It's available for UK and international fans to stream. Just head over to the website that's on screen now, but time is ticking away and kick-off is very nearly upon us, so let's take a look at the visiting side, as it's the Grecians who travel to E10. And Gary Caldwell has opted for this team with Villami Sanisalo in goal. We have Zach Jules, Will Aimson, Tom Carroll, Ryan Woods, Reece Cole, Ilmari Niskanen, Dion Rankine, Piers Sweeney, not even the best Sweeney on the pitch, Jack Aitchison and Jake Richards. And on the bench for Exeter is Sean McDonald, Ben Purrington, Yannick Wildschut, Luke Harris, Milenic Ali, Vincent Tarper and Cheek Diabite. So they're in a good run of form at the moment, and whilst playoffs is very unlikely for us and Exeter can't go down or up, it's still shaping up to be a good game.
Yeah, and the exact same goes for them as it does for us when we were talking about momentum going into next season. Exeter have had a really strange old season. They came out the traps absolutely flying at the start of the season. We're at the top of the table when we beat them away in September. Then they had this horrendous run of form, and then of late they've been fantastic. They've got 4 wins in the last 5. Coming to this game with a lot of with a lot of momentum. You can look at those 4 wins and go, yeah, well, they were against teams below them in the table, 22nd, 18th, 19th in the table, but had a really good win against Stevenage on Saturday as well. So they've got a lot of momentum behind them. They haven't got any kind of really standout players that are dragging them through everything or dragging them throughout the season, but they're just a very, very solid unit, and so I expect a very good game this evening from them.
And if you take a look at some of their recent goals, as Andrew said, that they are in good form. But as we'll see here, this one's maybe not the greatest goal ever scored, but they have been scoring.
Yeah, they've been scoring freely, full of confidence, and when you're in that vein of form, you get the chances and you get the luck, and like I said, a fantastic strike. A few goals from set plays as well, so it'd be interesting. It'd be an interesting game. Both teams, safe from anything, can't go up, can't go down. But again, want to impress their managers and finish strongly to the end of the season.
From these clips we're seeing, Andrew, that they're good at, and it sounds silly, but they're good at crossing that ball in from wide. We're going to have to be, we spoke about Jayden Sweeney and Rob Hunt. He's gone for 2 out-and-out fullbacks. Do you think that's maybe part of his thinking to stop the crosses early? Because they look dangerous from those areas.
Yeah, and I have to say, for there'll be a lot of work needing to be done by Jordan Brown and Ethan Galbraith in covering those areas, I think, as well this evening. Exeter like to play with wing-backs, so that kind of right-hand side with Rankine and Nick, and on the left-hand side also they play this 3-4-2-1, and so they'll get the ball out wide as soon as possible and try and attack down those flanks. But we need to be alive to that this evening.
Well, we are going to be alive to it because the players are coming out onto the pitch here at the Gaughan Group Stadium. So it's time now to hand over to a wonderful commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Time this season, we're under lights here at the Gaughan Group Stadium, Brisbane Road, for what should be a fascinating game. The O's looking to make it back-to-back home wins in the league. First time since August, and they're against an in-form Exeter City side. They have won 4 of their last 6 games. That's been an unbeaten run. Both sides make changes. 5 for the O's and 4 for Gary Caldwell.
Yeah, as you say, Dave, fascinating insofar as I think it's almost a case of not knowing what to expect tonight. A dead rubber game, of course, but Exeter, a team that have been decent form recently. The O's following up, hopefully, on their victory on Saturday. 5 changes, as you mentioned, and, Copa, Hunt, Ibehre and Moncur Edwards all make way this evening. Simpson comes in, Sweeney comes in, Piggott comes in, Max Sanders gets a start as well. So Richie Wellens well and truly changing the lineup. Don't think we'll expect a change in the formation, but again, no surprise to see him mix it up.
Gary Caldwell, he always rotates his squad. What's interesting tonight is Jake Richards is not even on the match day programme, despite that there's 41 Exeter City players in the squad on the back page of the Matchday magazine. They don't include Jake Richards, who's just 16 years of age.
Yeah, I think he played against the O's, didn't he, at St James's Park early on this campaign, and there was a lot of talk about him as a young prospect, and you have to say at that young age he's done incredibly well to be playing first team football. Clearly they've recognised some form of talent in there. Be interesting to keep an eye on him.
Made his debut on his 16th birthday. This is his